2 days ago or so, we put up a video talking about everything you need to know about the Black Ops 6 multiplayer beta. That was made in advance for while I was traveling, and well, now that I'm back home, in that time since then, we learned quite a few more specifics about the multiplayer beta. So today, in an attempt to expand upon but not overlap a ton of the information from what was mentioned, today we're taking a deep dive into the multiplayer beta and examining things like weapons, modes, maps, progression caps, rewards, all that kind of stuff. So drop your thoughts as we go along. What are you jumping into either weekend 1 or weekend 2? Drop your thoughts and make sure to drop a like if you enjoy the video, and do make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'd love to have you in the community and keep you in the loop with all things Black Ops 6 and other FPS content as we gear up for the beta here tomorrow, or maybe even as of the time of you watching this, maybe it's live right now. But anyways, let's get into it. First, the beta starts its first weekend tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. in the UK. We've done this dance before. Is there a chance that it goes live early? Sure. Historically, that has happened, but at the same time, I would not expect that. Go in with the possible pleasant surprise instead of rather the annoyance if it doesn't drop early, because it very well may not. One thing to be aware of, though, is that if you're currently on PC and have access through BNet, if you have the game ready to go, you might not see it appear as such. The official COD Updates Twitter account posted players who received the open beta early access via redemption codes or digitally pre-ordered or pre-purchased will notice that the Black Ops 6 main menu tiles still state they need to pre-order or pre-purchase to access. So just know that if you see this, you started your preload, you have your code and everything, you should still be good to go, but it's just a visual bug. Starting off Black Ops 6 right on a new season of, is it a bug or is it a feature? But in all seriousness, you should be fine. Let's talk content now. What can you expect to see jumping into the beta when this starts? Firstly, let's talk maps, a sort of larger scale, what you can interact with type of thing here. For maps, you end up having weekend 1, a handful of maps across the core 6v6 and strike experiences. They detailed all 16 maps that we'll have at launch on the broadcast, but it's interesting because if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the most maps we've ever seen, perhaps, in a beta for a Call of Duty, which is awesome, I think. But on weekend 1, starting tomorrow, day 1, you'll have access to 4 6v6 maps and 2 strike maps. Derelict, Scud, Skyline, and Rewind are your core 6v6 maps, Derelict being that sort of abandoned train yard, Scud being a desert communications outpost, Skyline being a high-rise penthouse, and Rewind being the Liberty Falls, Main Street, USA type of map where you have the old movie store and a shopping mall that you're going in and out of. The strike maps, you'll have Pit and Gala, Pit being part of the Vorkuta mines, very, very small in close quarters, while Gala is, in terms of sizing, still very small. It's a strike map after all, but it's a bit more open. You have a lot more space that you can get picked off by a rifle at air quote longer range, but it's not something that is, of course, ever really long range. Those are your maps that you can interact with and play in all the modes on offer with weekend 1, and more will be added in weekend 2, but we'll get there in a second. Additionally, the Black Ops 6 beta is going to have a training course. That's what I think is really cool here. For the first time in a long time, we'll have a dedicated sort of playground for movement or practicing a little bit here. The last I can really think of is like the headquarters from World War II, and then the free running courses in Black Ops 3, where it's like an entire multiplayer experience, but an entirely different fleshed out experience. Something that you can just basically just mess around with and have some fun. But it's also the first time we'll have something like this ever in a beta, which I think is really cool. But the training course is going to be available for this, and it will allow you to jump into the island called Protocol, a map designed in this case specifically for the training course. In our pre-reveal brief on Tuesday, we learned that while what we saw in the beta leak a month ago or so seemed pretty in-depth and fleshed out already, that was only the tip of the spear for the plans that they have for this at launch, meaning they're going to end up adding more to this training course, which I think is really cool. Now, sidebar, if they end up tethering this to the gunsmith so that you can have a whole map to play around with and test builds on as opposed to just a 3-lane firing range, I'd be ecstatic. I think that'd be a huge win, but that's a story for later. But the training course will also be a map available that you can practice all your Omni movement on and perfect your settings accordingly. Now, as for your modes in weekend 1, you're going to have Team Deathmatch, Domination, Hardpoint, and a new mode called Kill Order, which is similar to other modes we've seen in the past, but basically Team Deathmatch, but if you kill the high value target, you get more score for that, not only for your own score streaks, but also towards your actual score for the team. You'll also have Face-Off, Team Deathmatch, and Face-Off Kill Confirmed, playing 6v6 on those small strike maps, but again, just segmented to those small chaotic maps. The weekend 1 level cap is going to be level 20, and through that, you're going to be able to get a lot of different things. Of course, starting at level 1, you don't really have anything. You have access to some very basic stuff, your Enforcer, Recon, and Strategist loadouts, but then at level 2, you'll end up getting a beta tester reward emblem and the default Commando loadout. At level 3, you'll end up getting the Overwatch default loadout, and at level 4, you'll have the option to start your own custom loadouts. From there, you genuinely start to unlock more and more that can go towards your loadouts and whatever you want to do. Level 5, you end up getting the Semtex, Gung Ho perk, and the RCXD streak. Level 6, you end up getting the Flashbang and the Vigilance perk, along with another reward of the Beta Tag Spray. At level 7, you get the AK-74 Assault Rifle, the Trophy System, and Flak Jacket at level 8, the Thermo Grenade, the Dispatcher perk, and the UAV Score Streak at level 9. Level 10, you get the Jackal PDW. At level 11, you end up getting the Double Time perk and Overkill Wildcard, but also the No Bugs Reward Weapon Charm. At level 12, you get the Stim Shot and the Ghost perk. Level 13, the 9mm PM handgun. Level 14, the Neurogas Field Upgrade and Dexterity. 15, the Counter UAV and the Bankroll perk, along with the reward of the Quick Draw emote. Level 16, the LR762 Sniper Rifle. 17, the Prox Alarm Tactical and the Bruiser perk. 18, the Acoustic Amp Field Upgrade and Tracker. 19, Perk Greed and the Guardian perk. And level 20, finally for Weekend 1, the Ames 85, along with 2 beta rewards, one specific though to Weekend 1. So basically, if you hit the level cap in Weekend 1, you'll end up getting the Squish West Point Operator. And then if you end up reaching level 20 at any point during the beta, either Weekend 1 or Weekend 2, you end up getting the Squash West Point Operator skin. Now, Weekend 2, that's when we get a little bit more content here at this starting on September 6th. Before this, let's talk about this same order of content. Maps firstly. Core, you end up having all the maps from Weekend 1 plus the map of Babylon. This one's a fun map, but I'll tell you straight up, depending on the mode, the spawns are bad. But hey, sometimes that's even more fun for you if you like the shipment style maps, so it could be just up to your subjective opinion, I'd guess. The strike maps, we have all maps from Weekend 1 plus Stakeout. Now, we didn't, or at least I didn't get any time with this map during Next, so not sure how this one will play in particular. It looked like from the leaked footage that it's set inside a small apartment building, like just the second story of Vondel's townhomes. So that'll be interesting in terms of pacing, the close quarters combat, all that kind of stuff, and especially because there was body bouncing in this build. I'd be curious how many times you're going to try and run through a doorway and you're just going to bounce right off either a teammate or your enemy. As for your modes, you're going to end up having all of the Weekend 1 modes, plus Gunfight and Face-Off Kill Order. So a 2v2 specific usage of those strike maps, and then, of course, Face-Off with that new map of Kill Order, but in 6v6 on those smaller maps. Your progression cap this time around will be level 30, so 10 additional levels to end up progressing throughout Weekend 2 here in those last couple of days. So what can you expect to unlock during that time? Well, at 21, you end up getting the Blast Trap Lethal and the Scavenger perk. 22 is the Interceptor's Score Streak and Fast Hands. 23 is the Sleeper Agent Field Upgrade and the Cold-Blooded perk, with the Truth Lies loading screen as a beta reward. 24 is the Combat Axe and Tac Mask. 25 is the DM10 Marksman Rifle. 26 is the Gunfighter Wildcard and Forward Intel perk. 27 is the Gearhead perk plus the Beta Expert Calling Card. 28 is the Decoy Tactical and Ninja perk. 29 is the Chopper Gunner Score Streak, and 30 is the Tonto 22 Submachine Gun. Had a lot of fun with that one in the Warzone experience, as well as the final reward of the beta of the Bug Smasher XM4 Weapon Blueprint. So if you're keeping track of all the things you can unlock here at this one, all is said and done, you'll have the weapons of the rifles, the XM4, AK-74, and the Ames 85, SMGs of the C9, Jackal PDW, and Tonto 22, shotguns of the Marine SP, LMGs of the XMG, marksman rifles of the SWAT 556 and DM10, sniper rifles of the SVD and LR762, pistols of the GS45 and 9mm PM, and the launcher of the Sigma 2B. Then you'll have the streaks of the Scout Pulse, RCXD, UAV, Counter UAV, Watchdog Helo, Hellstorm, Interceptors, and Chopper Gunner. Perks, tons of perks here at this one, 21 in the beta, but along with those combat specialties, adding even additional bonuses to your sort of super soldier package. Wildcards, you have Overkill, Gunfighter, and Perk Greed, with 3 more already detailed for launch. We don't know what those ones will be. Then the equipment of the Frag, Sticky Grenade, Thermo Grenade, Blast Trap, and Combat Axe. Tacticals of the Concussion Grenades, Flashbang, Stim Shot, Prox Alarm, and the Decoys. Then your field upgrades of the Assault Pack, Trophy System, Neurogas, Acoustic Amp, and Sleeper Agent. Now, as for additional content, stuff that isn't like necessarily locked, but other things you'll end up being able to see, you have Operators, 6 each at most, where you have Adler and Park, both Vault Edition operators, but also West Point, Nazir, Bayon, and Marshall for the Rogue Black Ops faction. Crimson 1, that faction ends up including Brutus and Klaus for the Vault Edition, but also Kane, Toro, Bailey, and Stone. You'll also have access to a limited number of emblems, calling cards, emotes and sprays, loading screens, a clan tag, and HUD presets. Those HUD presets being available are Standard, Inverted, Classic, Mission Interface, Scout, Target Tracker, Central Command, and Magnified. There also was visible the Immersive and Streamer options, though not sure if we'll get access to those because those were locked at the point in this build. And then also your HUD customization can happen with like colors being adjusted. Beyond that, though, other things that you'll want to take a look at here as for this beta, you want to jump in and check out your settings. There's a lot of new and returning settings that are super important that we may or may not have a settings guide here up on the channel. I'm not entirely sure how my content schedule this week is going to break down, if that makes the cut or not, but there are a few things to consider right up front. I think that these should be carrying over from the COD HQ and prior settings from Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, those progressive things you've set in the last 2 years, but just in case, I double check my FOV. Make sure that that's where you want it to be. Your button layout and stick layouts. Tactical is what I play on, so I'm always going to be making sure that I'm double checking that. Your sensitivities, again, this is all preference based. You can't really ever pinpoint that down in a perfect recommendation because what I find comfortable is different from what you find comfortable. Dead zones, I would absolutely check this. This one is really important because I think what I had at COD Next is a sort of slight delay in activation on stuff, and that might be due to dead zones. Aim settings are also something you always want to, and a big one here is this are your sort of tap button interface preferences, i.e. tap to slide, tap to dive. Personally, with the inclusion of Omni Movement, I found that I liked Hybrid the most out of the brief bit of playing with it already. I can still utilize that slide or Omni Movement dive, but I'm also not tethered to one specifically as you would be with like slide only. But also it's intuitive enough that I feel like you can have that tap option while also holding for more in that Omni Movement. Getting, again, your slide cancels or sliding into a head glitch or some cover, but also being able to dive around a corner or something like that, or dive and peek and shoot a player with your new Omni Movement. So that's one that I would highly recommend checking out, but that's a deep dive into what we have upcoming with this beta for Weekend 1 and Weekend 2 and what you can experience in, as of the time of this video being uploaded, pretty late for my normal schedule, apologies for that, but basically in like 12 hours here as this being uploaded. So that's where we're gonna wrap it up. Just wanted to fill you guys in here with all you needed to know about the comprehensive stuff, adding on top of what we talked about again a couple of days ago, because more information, plenty of more information came out in that time since. So let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think here of what we've seen in this deep dive and what we have on offer with beta weekends 1 and 2? Anything in particular you're looking to jump into? Whatever the case, let me know. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor, drop a like on the video, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing running all things Black Ops 6 with the multiplayer beta upcoming and all the content to follow, plus as we gear up for launch and all the coverage there, plus more other FPS games, not just Call of Duty. We got you covered here on the channel, so I'd love to have you in the community. For now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.